What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today we are going to be talking about the secret stimulus check that nobody is talking about. This is a program that was implemented with the American Rescue Plan, and there is millions of dollars being distributed through this program. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down what this package is, what it includes, and how much money it is for, and most importantly, how you can qualify and how you can apply. So let's get started. The American Rescue Plan was passed a few months ago back in March, and with that American Rescue Plan came a ton of different funding options being allocated to a bunch of different funding and government programs, including the EIDL, including stimulus checks, including the child tax credit, and more. And on top of all of these programs that we've talked about so often on this channel, there is one government program that could be hugely beneficial to many of you guys that watch this video. In fact, it could be beneficial to millions of Americans across the country and up to 60% of the entire US population. According to a 2020 study, as of 2020, 60.4% of Americans own their own homes, which means about 60% of all of Americans pay a mortgage. Now, of course, during the pandemic and during the last year of economic hardships, there have been millions of Americans that have struggled to make ends meet, and thus they have struggled to make their mortgage payment. And because of this, they are slowly falling behind on that mortgage payment, and they're at risk of being foreclosed on. Well, the American Rescue Plan actually allocated funding to an effort to try to combat this problem, to try to prevent homeowners from being evicted from their homes. And this is the secret stimulus that I want to talk about today. And this is the program, the Homeowners Assistance Fund. And this is a $10 billion program that received their funding through the American Rescue Plan. And it is a program that has been created to help stop people from being evicted from their homes. And so basically, it is a program that has been created by the government to not only stop evictions, but also assist people in the catching up of their mortgage that they may have fallen behind on over the last year. Now, this program has been allocated $10 billion, which means that there is $10 billion to be given out across everybody in the United States that could be eligible for this program. Basically, how it's going to work is the funds will be allocated state by state, and the amount that each state will receive will be dependent on what percentage of homeowners are at risk of being delinquent on their mortgage. The minimum amount that a state can receive is $50 million, but in most cases, they will receive significantly more than that. Now, we can actually see how much money each state will be receiving, and this is a PDF document that I received from the Department of Treasury's website. I will include a link down in the description below so that you can check this out. But this document is titled Homeowner Assistance Fund, U.S. Department of the Treasury, Data and Methodology for State and Territory Allocation. And if we scroll down, you will see a list state by state showing how much each state will receive. Now again, this is based off of how many people in that state are at risk of being delinquent on their loans. States that are having a more of a housing crisis will get more money compared to states that aren't having housing crisis. Or alternatively, states with higher populations will also receive more than states with lower populations. For example, you can see here that California is being allocated over $1 billion, while Alaska is being allocated just $50 million. But you can see the list here: Alabama, $125 million, Alaska, $50 million, Arizona, $196 million. We continue to scroll down further: Louisiana, $146 million, Maine, $50 million, Maryland, $248 million. Let's scroll down to my home state of Texas, which is $842 million, Tennessee, $168 million, Vermont, $50 million, Virginia, $58 million, and then it goes down to the total amount that's being allocated, which is $9.3 billion. And in addition to these funds that I've just laid out state by state, there's also money being allocated to U.S. territories as well. And in addition to U.S. territories, there's also $498 million being allocated for tribes or tribally designated housing entities in the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. So now that we know what this program is, we know that this is a program designed to help people get caught up on their mortgages and to help prevent foreclosures. Now begs the question of how do you apply and how do you find out if you're eligible for this program? Now, in order to be eligible for this homeowners fund, you have to, number one, own your own home. If you are renting, then you would not be eligible for this. Number two, you have to owe less than $548,250 on your home mortgage as of 2021. If you owe more than that on your mortgage, then you unfortunately would not be eligible. And lastly, though, with this fund, you don't have to meet any sort of strict income requirement or income threshold. There is language in this program that states that a significant amount of the funding will be going to lower income families, specifically families that make less than the national average median income or less than the local average median income. Whichever one of those is higher is the one that you would be held accountable to. Now, in order to apply for this program, you have to find a housing agency in your city and in your state. There is a really great resource here, NCSHA, and this website will help you find a housing agency in your area. Basically, all you have to do is go onto this website. You will see a map here. You can then click on your state. Once you do that, you will find a resource for your state. So for example, my home state of Texas, if I click on Texas, it will then take me to this page which says the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs is the office that I would go to. I also have a handful of other resources as well. So there are resources on this website that can point you to the right direction of how you can go applying for this through your local branch. Very similarly to like the PPP, where you're oftentimes had to contact like a third-party distributor to get these funds, it is the same type of thing here, but rather than going through like a third-party bank, you are going through a kind of third-party government entity in order to secure these funds through this program. Now, as I stated earlier, there isn't any sort of like real clear-cut income restrictions that are applied to this fund. It's not like you have to make less than X amount of dollars in order to be eligible. With that being said though, low-income areas or hard-hit areas will be prioritized for this fund. So for example, if you are somebody that lives in a very wealthy area, you lost your job and you are struggling, you unfortunately wouldn't be prioritized in this instance because you're not part of this priority group. Alternatively, if you're somebody that lives in a more low-income or average area and you have a very average salary and you've lost your job and you're now falling behind on your mortgage, you would have a chance to be prioritized for this fund. This is the exact language per the Department of Treasury. The law prioritizes funds for homeowners who have experienced the greatest hardships, leveraging local and national income indicators to maximize the impact. The amount that you would receive for this fund would be dependent on what your mortgage is, how far you are behind, what your monthly payment is, as well as your own income statistics as well. And if and when you are approved for these funds and you get distributed these funds can be used on mortgage payments, homeowners insurance, as well as utility payments. So basically any type of payment that is associated with your living situation and with the cost of owning your home. Now, ultimately, you guys, this is a program that will benefit a lot of people. And though it isn't something that is as accessible as some of the other programs that we've discussed on this channel, the fact of the matter is 60% of the US population owns a home, which means theoretically 60% of the US population could be eligible for this fund. If you're somebody who has fallen behind on your bills, if you're somebody who is worried about potentially being foreclosed on in the coming year, then I would certainly look into this type of program. Now, again, I will include a handful of links down in the description below that will give you some more resources on this program, how to apply, and if it's something that would be beneficial to you. But like always, you guys, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear your thoughts. So make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.